Think about this problem. Let's go back to just plain old square roots. What's the square root of 4 squared?
4.
4. How'd you know? It's like square root says something times what times itself is 4, and then we square it, so we multiply that something by itself. We get whatever's left over. This we said is 4. What exponent would go with 4? 1. Okay. So we're saying the square root of 4 squared is 1. That makes sense. It's to the 4 to the first power. Square root of 4 squared is 4 to the first power. Is that agreeable? Okay. What did we say we had to multiply? What it was? I answered the question there. But what did we have? What did we do to like powers of powers? How did we figure out what their exponents should be? Powers of powers. We multiplied exponents. Power of power multiply exponents. Well, geez. If I want to represent this with an exponent, what times 2, because we multiply exponents, what times 2 would give me this exponent? What times 2 gives me the exponent of 1? 1/2. So what I'm saying is that the square root of 4 could have, using exponents, in our knowledge of them, we should have known, we should be able to rewrite the square root of something as that same thing to the 1/2 power. Because if I square this whole thing, if I go power of power, I multiply exponents, I get a 1. So what times 2 is 1? Well, 1/2 of it. It's reciprocal. Where I'm going with this is that nth roots or square roots or radicals are really just exponents are just fraction exponents. That's where I'm headed with this. Is that I can rewrite any nth root, any square root, any cube root, any fourth root, whatever many root you want. You can rewrite it as a fraction. So if this was a square root, can someone want to take a wild guess what the third root of, say, x could be written as? What fraction do you think we'd want? Alex?
3 repeating or 1/3.
The third root can be written as, say, x to the 1/3 power. And in general, the nth root of x is x to the 1 over n. Nth roots. Here's some ones we should be able to, you should be able to calculate without too much trouble. I'll give nice round numbers. For example, what times itself 5 times is -32? What times itself 5 times is equal to -32? -2. The fifth root of -32 should be equal to -2 times -2 is 4. 4 times -2 is -8. -8 times -2 is positive 16. Positive 16 times -2 is -32. Be the fifth root of -32. Similarly, what times itself 6 times is 1? 1. How about what times itself 5 times is 243? Not a syntax error. This is this is a whole number. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3.
Yes, it is.
3. That's fine.
Fifth root of 243 is 3. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 243. And what times itself 4 times is 625?
5.
5.
Yes.
The fourth root of 625 is 5. To evaluate some like weird ones, like 125 to the 2/3. Oh man, this is not like a 1/3. It's a 2/3 here. Well, how about we split this fraction into two things that are multiplied together. Because when you do powers of powers, right, multiply exponents. Powers of powers multiply exponents. So let's try this. Let's rewrite this as 125 to the about 1/3 power. And then what do I need to multiply 1/3 by to get to 2/3? 2.
Can you just type it in on your
One strategy is to split this fraction into two exponents that are multiplied together. For example, 2/3 can be rewritten as, say, 1/3 times 2, or 1/3 power squared. Why did I choose to do this? Because I know, and you hopefully will become more familiar with as you do more problems, what the third root of 125 is.
5.
This is the same as the third root of 125 squared. The third root of 125 we said is 5. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. The third root of 125 is 5, so what's 5 squared?
25.
25. Without a calculator, you could find the 2/3 power of 125. How about 8 to the negative 4/3? Well, our strategy is the same. Let's rewrite 8 as a root, and then multiply it by whatever was in the numerator, or raise it to that next power. What's the 1/3 power? What's the 1/3 or the third root of 8? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So this ugly thing is the same as 2 to the negative 4th power. Do we know what 2 to the negative 4th power is? What's a negative exponent tell us to do? It does not tell you to quit. It tells you first to flip this over the fraction bar and make the exponent positive. Negative exponent means flip over the fraction bar, whatever's being negative. And what's 2 to the 4th power? 16. So this 8 to the negative 4/3 is the same as 1 over 16.
Or 0.06.
Yeah, if you do 0.0625, then I'll know you just did it on your calculator, and then I won't be very happy with you. Because I asked you to do this without a calculator. Same thing. Please calculate these two without a calculator on your own. 4 to the 1/2 power to the 5th, which is 2 to the 5th, which is 32. 9 to the negative 1/2 power is the same as 9 to the 1/2 power times negative 1, or to the negative 1st power. With 9 to the 1/2 power, the square root of 9 is 3 to the negative 1st power. And if I want to get a positive exponent, if I have a negative one, I'll flip it to the positive, and 1 over 3 to the 1st is 1/3.
That's not his.
This radical can be rewritten with a fraction exponent as 11 to the 4/5 power. And now you can use your calculator. 11 to the 4/5 and get an answer. Okay. You can do the same here. If I ask you to solve equations using nth roots, let's, just like when we solve square roots, let's get what's being raised to whatever that power is, whether it's 2 or 3 or 10 or whatever the nth power is. Let's get that isolated by itself. So if I want to solve 6x to the 3rd equals 384, let's get this x to the 3rd power by itself. 384 over 6.
64.
Thank you. And then if x to the 3rd is 64, then we could find, say, the 3rd root of each of these. What's the 3rd root of 64?
Oh, I had a question on that.
So if I need to solve, say, x minus 8 to the 5th power equals 100, get what's being raised to an nth power by itself. So, it is. This what's being raised to nth power is x minus 8. So let's use a 5th root to undo this. 5th root to undo this 5th power, which gives you x minus 8 is equal to the 5th root of 100. How the heck would you calculate this? Can we get a decimal for this? Can someone calculate this as a decimal for me real quick? What's the 5th root of 100 as a decimal?
2.51.
Again, when we're solving these, we're trying to get x by itself. So how do we get x by itself? Well, x is raised, this group is raised to the 5th power. So let's undo a 5th power by 5th root, or multiply, or raise everything to the 1/5 power. Same with the next two. How to undo nth roots, undo exponents. You can say, those last two you can say for your own time, or just in the end of class here in just a second. I look at one little story problem. A foam ball is made of 3,053.63 cubic centimeters of material. A foam ball is made up of this much material. Find the diameter of the ball. Holy cow, this is like a minimal information thing. What could you even think about doing if you're trying to find a foam ball? Well, you better know what kind of shape is a foam ball. What could you call a sphere? So if I know you have this much cubic centimeters, that much volume of it, you better know the volume formula for a sphere. Does anyone know the volume formula for a sphere off the top of their head?
Oh, I got this.
The volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. I tell you the volume. I tell you that you're using 3,053.63 cubic centimeters. I want the diameter of the ball. So what's my process here? I got to do two steps. What's the first thing I need to do, Wesley?
Find the radius.
Find the radius, and then once you know the radius, we'll double it. Okay. 3,053.63 equals 4/3 pi r to the 3rd power. Get r by itself. Oh boy. You could get a number for like what 4/3 of pi is, and then divide by that number. You could multiply by this multiplicative inverse by the reciprocal of 3/4 or 4/3, which is 3/4, and get whatever this number is times 0.75. Get 3,053.63 times 3/4, which gives equals pi r to the 3rd. How about divide everything by pi? Because pi is just a number. Divide that by pi and get r to the 3rd power is pretty close to 729. Get r by itself, so we could cube root this. Or maybe, better yet, we'll just go, because we're going to use a calculator anyways. We could say raise everything to the 1/3 power to undo the 3. The reciprocal of 3 is 1/3. Therefore, r is 9. So the diameter of this ball it's got to be 18 centimeters.